Blighty Boxing with Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions. Delighted to be at the Epping Empire of the Governor, Martin Bowers. First of all, Mark, congratulations on Friday. I know you're going to say straight away, but Ray's his lead trainer and everything else, but
exactly.
You are, you know, a part of Denzel Bentley's team,
yeah.
And it's another British title for the gym.
Yeah, fortunately enough, we've got a really good team, and obviously we're all very pleased. And I did speak to Kevin afterwards the next day, and he said that Mark was okay and there was no permanent damage, so that was good.
Been a rapport built between the teams, hasn't there?
Yeah, listen, they produce good fighters up there, and you know, and I'd like to think we do the same. And sometimes, you know, the ball goes back and forward. Sometimes you get a win, and sometimes they get a win, and other times you're fashionable, and other times they'll be fashionable. It's just this boxing. That's what happens.
You get flavour of the month in boxing, don't you?
It happens. Yeah, you do. You do get that. Yeah.
Prestigious, though, I would imagine, to have two such marquee titles. I mean, the special weights, heavyweight and middleweight, to have both of them in the gym at the same time, that's special.
Oh, listen, as I just said, we've been blessed at the moment, you know, and we know, you know, what goes around comes around. So we're not silly. We'll enjoy the moment, and then, you know, keep on working. We won't let it go to our heads, and we'll just stay on point.
One of the pleasing things, I suppose, you look at both Daniel and Denzel, the two British champions, is they're both right at the beginning of the story. It's not like the culmination or it's the pinnacle of their careers. It's very early days, and there's so much more to come.
No, it is early days, but look, with Denzel, and I don't want to talk out of turn, but Denzel's been in the gym with us nearly 5 years now. I mean, he was sparring the likes of Ahmed Patterson, he was sparring Orville McKenzie, Alan Higgins. You know, he's been around a long, even though he's not been on the scene in the respect of like the pro ranks, he's been in the gym putting the work in, and you know, I believe that's where you improve, and if you're dedicated to the sport, it does come.
Oville and Armit, those were the days, Mark? Not that long ago, was it? Sort of things change in eras, don't they?
Of course they do, but that's still 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, Denzel was doing his stuff then. He was coming in and helping Armit out. I mean, obviously he was still representing the Fisher, and the Fisher's a very good club, as we know. You know, he was representing him, but he was helping us, and you know, it pays off. You know, you have to be patient in this game.
Just in relation to Friday, it was obviously a huge disappointment as well. Chris Bourke was supposed to be fighting for an international title against Michael Ramabeletsa. He went in, had his test, went to his room, and then he was fine, and the next day then he got the news, but his opponent's trainer or something wasn't, and it put the kibosh on the fight. I mean, did you have to pick him up a bit after that?
To be fair, look, if you look at it the other way around, I think Michael's trainer had some really bad news, and that puts things into perspective, you know what I mean? Like, I think Michael's got 3 kids, and that was probably his Christmas money, and he's at a different end of his career to Chris. So, in all fairness, I was probably more disappointed for Michael than Chris, because he's got to go home to his family and say, like, oh, I'm not fine, I ain't got the money for this, or whichever the circumstances are. It's harder. He's a family man with 3 kids, and it was probably their Christmas money. Without talking out of turn, Chris is a young man, he's single, he's at the beginning of his career, like you just said, and he goes again. So I just looked at Chris and just thought, listen, that's just part of the boxing. That can happen anyway. So, you know, we didn't look round and point fingers and say, oh, it's his trainer. No, nothing like that. Listen, we just moved on. Unfortunately enough, that's been rescheduled. So, happy days.
All was well that ends well, and before Christmas as well for that.
Well, happy days. Like I say, I wouldn't have liked to have been Michael to go home to his family and say, I ain't boxing, probably put 8 weeks working and got no financial reward for it. You know, it's hard times at the moment. So, as I said, I feel more sorry for him than Chris. I'm disappointed for Chris, don't get me wrong, but it's an early stage of his career, we can get over it.
I was just saying to Chris just then, but in a traditional fight week, once you've got your last spar out of the way the previous week, all you're generally worried about is your weight.
Yeah.
But now they're on tenterhooks because of these COVID tests. I mean, it's just, you know, something else.
It's a mind
isn't
game,
it?
and obviously it probably does play a part, but we're all in the same boat. That's all I can say on that.
Now, obviously, we're wrapping Daniel up in cellophane until...
That's from Friday. He goes in cotton wool.
Yeah. Until next week. This fight against Joe, in the pantheon of fights you've been involved in, Where does this rank in terms of magnitude?
Listen, I'd be a fool if I didn't say it was probably the biggest fight of, all of our little team's career, however you want to say that. But every fight that you do and you get ready for, you have the same feelings. And I've said this to you before, it don't matter whether it's a 4-rounder, 6, 8, 10, 12 championship, you have to put the same passion into it, because that's that part of that person's career. And that 6-rounder might be their ceiling, that 8-rounder might be their ceiling, a 10-round Southern area could be the ceiling. They're all in as important, and you feel the same. But this, on a boxing sense, this is probably a bigger
sense of occasion.
Yeah, bigger sense of occasion. We're not foolish to think that it ain't.
Now, you happy with the way everything's gone across the piece? I mean, obviously it's been rescheduled a couple of times, but you had got that fight in between. Could it have gone any better? I mean, are you happy with everything?
What, the preparation for this fight as of this period? Yeah. Listen, we've been fortunate enough to bring American over, really nice kid.
Jeremiah Milton.
Done some great rounds with Dan. A young, fresh fighter who's willing to get in there and give it his all. We couldn't have asked for more, really. And as for the rescheduling, we've all had to suffer that, so Joe's team as well.
There's been some canny parallels in this sparring. Now, Jeremiah Milton, who we just mentioned, a 2-0 guy from Vegas, or lives in Vegas, from Oklahoma, he sparred Joe out in Vegas before the original contest. And now for this fight, you've also been sharing another sparring partner, Solomon Dacre, who's a new professional. He was on Team GB. Now he was working with you. Never understand the sequence of events. He was working with you. He then signed with Joe's management team, and now since then he's also been working with Joe and you at the same time.
No, he was working with us, and then he went back Friday to go back and work with him. But listen, that's boxing.
Wasn't he working with them at stuff anyway previously?
I think he done one spar, but listen, it is what it is. It's boxing. It's a small world. You know what I mean? We'll cross over each other, and you have to sometimes you have to pick what's best for you, and you have to put them other things to one side. I mean, we've never spoke about one round that he's done with Joe. I've never asked him. Never felt the need to.
You're not concerned about a little bit of industrial espionage?
Not really.
You just don't care, yeah.
It's not that I don't care. I don't see that. I just think, listen, boxing's a unique sport, and if you can, listen, we know Joe. Joe knows Dan. Dan knows Joe. It's boxing. It's it'll be what it'll be on the night. It's going to be a great fight, and I'm sure they're prepared. And we have to prepare the best that we can. And without being rude, Solomon's the perfect person for this fight, and we was allowed to spar with him.
It must be hard to find ideal sparring for Joe, though, isn't it? Because I mean, I can't really think of many heavyweights or any boxers that really fight like Joe. So.
Are technically similar, but Solomon throws good jabs. Joe throws a good jab. Plenty of work. Solomon does that.
Joe's a more smothering type of fighter, though, isn't he?
He is, but if you watch, there's not much in it. And I don't want to sound rude, but I would say Solomon's just that little bit sharper than Joe.
Younger, isn't he?
He's younger. So,
probably not quite as big.
Yeah. But take nothing away from Joe. The work that he does is good. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's I can't think of the exact word, but it works for him. Let's put it like that.
Now I'm going to try and be a little bit cheeky here and try and lure something out of you.
It's not going to happen.
If you were a fan, a boxing fan, when if you went on TV as a guest pundit, not that I could ever see that happening. How would you break down this fight in your sort of professional opinion? How would you assess it, and if you were asked to do a preview, if you were not involved?
Well, to be fair, I am a bit of a fan. I do like boxing, and obviously everyone's got an opinion in boxing, and everyone sees things different. So I don't really want to break it down as I see it, because I might be just blurting what we're looking at. So I would just probably say, what an enjoyable night we're going to be having tonight, and I'm going to sit back and relax and watch two good operators in heavyweight division.
So that didn't work.
No, sorry.
I was just having enough talking with Chris a minute ago, and we were saying, but do we think this fight can be sort of clean and explosive, or could it turn into some heavyweight fights where they get a bit clinchy and huggy, sort of?
I don't think they'll be huggy. I don't think they're that fond of each other.
You know what I mean? Holding on.
Yeah, no, look, to be fair, they've got a game plan. I don't know what that is. We've got a game plan. And it'll unfold. I'm sure it's going to be really exciting though. I really think it's going to be an exciting fight, and I'm hoping it is. And as always, I'm just hoping they both come out of it healthy. That's it. We can't ask for more.
I think everyone will echo that.
Yeah.
Now, that's a massive fight, and then amazingly, just a week later, we've got another huge fight on the horizon. Anthony Yard and Lyndon Arthur. I'd say probably two of the best three light heavyweights in the country.
Yeah, I'd agree with Buatsi.
Going at it. What do you make of that?
I think that's a good fight, and I think it's the right fight. Actually, I think it's the right fight. I really do. Who do I call as a winner? Listen, no disrespect to Lyndon. I think Anthony's probably that little bit more of a beast.
He's got a more aggressive style, probably a bit more offensive.
I like Lyndon's work. I like his jab and everything.
But that jab of Lyndon,
no,
I think if
you
can't work your way around that, you maybe have problems.
Well, I know where you're coming from, because you're going back to Anthony's loss when he didn't really cope very well with the jab, but I'm sure they've gone away and addressed that, because obviously that was a major.
More to do with the fact, but I mean, also it's Lyndon. That is his weapon, and
well,
he's known
that's
for
what
it.
I'm saying.
It's a very relaxed but very powerful jab.
Yeah, well, again, I would say, without talking out of turn, because I really like Anthony, I think that's probably what lost him the world title fight, not killing that jab. And I'm sure Tunzi's acute, he would go away and work on that. You know what I mean? He's not going to allow that to happen again.
Push you for a prediction?
Obviously, you know where I'm going to fall down. But again, I'm going to enjoy it.
Right, just finally, a little recap. Loui Lynn was a bit poorly. He missed out on fighting on Friday. Good news is, but he's in for an 8-rounder on the Daniel show. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
Now that was going to be for a WBC international silver title, which was obviously a proper excitement for Loui. So from what I can gather, it's an 8-rounder on the 28th, and that will be pushed back into the early part of next year. I
think they're talking about February, and obviously, we'll get this 8-rounder out of the way, which will stand Loui in good stead. Gets him out this year before the end of Christmas, and then we'll come back and we'll work on the February date, which I think will be fine.
It's a mark of what people are thinking about Loui now. Once he had 7 or 8 fights, and the progress that he's making and what he's showing, is that they're putting him in for WBC international titles.
Listen, Louis just 100% fun. You've seen him. He's like a puppy. I can't explain him any other way. He puts a smile on my face when he walks in here in the morning. He's always happy. The energy that comes off him
is relentlessly happy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, but but also the energy that comes off him is good. It's a good energy. Sometimes you can get a negative energy, but it's not. It's always a good positive energy. So I've got my fingers crossed for him, like we do with all our fighters.
It does, again, it's like I say, it shows what people are thinking about him, doesn't it? They're seeing a real potential there.
Well, it's going to unfold, isn't it? It's another great story, which hopefully we have lots of luck with.
Martin, congratulations on everything.
Thank
Friday,
you.
And best of luck for the 28th and everything beyond that.
Okay, lovely.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.